It's actually a great pleasure to speak here, especially with that lineup. I want to talk a bit about a particular project that we're working on within Parity. It's called the Polkadot Protocol, blockchains in general, but also the bigger picture and what drew me into the space. I mean, at the beginning of today, we've heard already like what the issues are with the web, but really, it can't be stated often enough how broken it is, actually. So my journey personally, when I really got into the space, started at the end of 2013 when I went to CCC, the Chaos Communication Congress, and I saw the presentations about like the NSA revelations and what this all means, and it became more and more tangible that what we've built so far is fundamentally broken. Like in 2013, there were various revelations, academics criticizing the NSA and the GCHQ for weakening online encryption. But then beyond that, I mean, also the companies that use all the tools. There was the Equifax hack last year with lots of personal data revealed. But then there are also like the more sort of hidden things that happen, like Uber spying on their users, or employees spying on what users do on the platform. So really, like the tools that we rely on the internet to interact, to communicate, they're fundamentally broken. And so what do we do? I mean, so far what we've done is basically we've fallen back to trust. Like that's the only thing we have at the moment. It's trust in the very same people that want to keep our tools still broken. So this is what I would picture like the traditional web at the moment looks like. Like we have to rely and think of maybe Keith Alexander holding you the hand on the top of the mountain. Like, and that's basically what it looks like. You have the centralized architecture in the back of all your apps that you're using. But really what you want to have is like a lot of tools so you can be self-reliant. I mean, it won't be full self-reliance. There'll always be somebody who belays you at the top of the mountain, probably. Like, the goal or the achievement will probably not be to have like trust completely removed from the picture, but you'll have tools. There'll be a lot of tools that help you, a lot of resilience built into the system. So this is what I would picture the future of Web3. So what do we mean? What do I mean when I speak about Web3? Web3 to me is really a reliable means of helping you build applications that stay useful under various adverse conditions. That could be just infrastructure that breaks down, like Wi-Fi not working, but then, which are sort of the unintentional adverse conditions, but then also obviously the intentional adverse conditions. So we really need strong cryptography built into our tools to make sure that what we want is what we get is what we want. It's a new way, and we've heard that earlier today, it's a new way of architecting applications, like that you fundamentally have to rethink, because there's not the server sitting in the middle, but it's direct interactions between users, peer-to-peer. It will hopefully reduce the divide between users and service providers, so it's more of a great digital commons that we can all rely on, that hopefully will not face the tragedy of the commons. And it's, in particular, it's not a single company because of how the protocols are designed, because of the fact that they are open and can be used by different companies, open APIs. There's a new way also for companies and users to work together. In short, it's less trust, it's more truth and control. So what does that practically mean? So it's basically a stack of protocols, and that became clear to us when, so my background is, before I started Parity, I worked for the Ethereum Foundation. I was in charge of security prior to the launch of the chain. And so, I mean, back then when we started to build Ethereum and like went through the different stages of the POCs, like it wasn't entirely clear to us what we had built, but it became clearer over time, and then augmented with like other parts of the stack, it became clear that this could be the backbone of a future Web3, where the protocol stack on a high level consists of 4 different layers: the user interface, the browser that brings the apps to you, static publication, dynamic messaging. But then the key part is this piece, expectation management, that we often call these days the blockchain. So soulmates of Ethereum are IPFS, for example, protocols like Whisper that sit within that stack. So the key thing about blockchain is that it effectively represents civil law for the internet native. So what do I mean by this? So by coding contracts, by coding these digital contracts, what we can achieve is a way of creating multi-user applications that help us manage expectations with zero or low trust protocols. And this is sort of an aspiring artist's image of what these blockchains look like. It's Cartman, respect my authority, baked into the protocols, and automated into this are the rules that we can rely on. Like, they're hard coded into the protocols, and then a pluribus unum, out of many different nodes emerges, or in the future many different blockchains emerges this digital common. This is the new model. So another way of looking at this is, and this is how we, over time, started to speak about what we built when we built Ethereum, it's this sort of world computer. So it's a way through these rules, creating like one single basis that everybody can use. But the problem is, you can only get stuff in. Like, it's hard to get stuff out. If you want to interact, what you always need is, again, trust. So blockchain really, at this stage, has a big problem. Outside interaction is completely lacking. There's no easy way of trustlessly recognizing any other chain. And there's no easy way of authorizing other chains. So speaking between Ethereum or Bitcoin isn't easily possible without relying, again, on trust. And together with the way how the technology works, together with this crypto-economic approach, this outside ignorance becomes a massive problem because it leads to what often is called maximalism, so the peer-to-peer equivalent of nationalism. Like, it's a lot of barriers that are created. It's hard to move between the systems. And so it effectively leads to a certain stealth centralization again. So the project that we are working on, or that we started to working on, is called Polkadot. It's basically to stay in this image, sort of an international law system to communicate between different chains. It can help to invent, it can help to connect, it can help to co-secure the different chains. So on a high level, it's basically 3 things that it provides. It's turbocharging chain innovation. So it's the fact that if you these days want to ideate a new blockchain because you think you need more privacy, or what Ethereum provides is too much of through the Turing complete language, maybe you want a different chain that has different properties. But really deploying it is really hard. That's not an easy task. And Polkadot makes that really easy. The other thing is to connect trustlessly different chains, to make it possible to send arbitrary transactions between Zcash and Bitcoin and Ethereum and many other chains through bridges. And the third thing is co-securing the community. So connecting the chains is already hard, but then making sure all the chains are secure is even harder, because chains inherently compete for security, compete for mining power. And so one key element that Polkadot provides is to allow chains to pool the security and jointly benefit from the security that Polkadot provides. Polkadot itself is also a blockchain. It's a relay chain that sends transactions from one chain to another. It consists of different parachains. Think of a Zcash-like chain. Think of private chains, or sort of chains that have their own civil law code for whatever reason. But also chains that could be transnational, could be the chains that regulators need for whatever purpose. And then there are bridges to make it backward compatible to existing chains like Bitcoin and Ethereum. So If you want to learn more about what we're doing, please go to our website. The GitHub has like loads and loads of other projects that we've been working on. The Bridges project, Coven as test network. Follow our Twitter, where we frequently speak about what we do on the tech side. We're also hiring on various positions. And then there's another entity I want to mention. It's called the Web3 Foundation, which we started a year ago, really with the purpose of nurturing this decentralized ecosystem and providing support for building applications. So Web3 organizes workshops. There'll be one, for example, very soon in Barcelona, Scaling Now, where it's about how to make these systems much more scalable. And also feel free to join our Riot channels. The water coolers are a good place to hang out and learn more, ask questions. Thank you.